Moribund as adjective. Something that is in the process of dying or has a limited chance of survival. The moribund company was bought by a competitor. The moribund music scene was revitalized by a new wave of artists. The moribund economy was boosted by a series of reforms. The moribund plant was saved by a dedicated team of botanists. The moribund language was preserved by a small group of speakers. Diligent as adjective. Careful, thorough, and persistent in carrying out tasks, showing hard work and attention to detail. She's a diligent student who always hands in her assignments on time. The diligent research of the scientists led to a major breakthrough. The team's diligent efforts to improve their product paid off with increased sales. He is known for his diligent work ethic and attention to detail. The diligent efforts of the firefighters helped to contain the blaze. Analogous as adjective. In biology, used to describe organs or structures that perform similar functions in different organisms, but have different evolutionary origins. Similar or alike in some way, having analogy or resemblance. The structure of the human eye is analogous to that of a camera. The way a computer stores information is analogous to the way a filing cabinet stores documents. The relationship between a teacher and student can be analogous to that of a guide and a traveler. The process of natural selection in biology is analogous to the process of market competition in economics. The way a child learns to speak a language is analogous to how a computer program is trained with data. Perfunctory as adjective. Done in a routine or superficial manner, lacking interest, enthusiasm, or involvement. Performed as a duty or obligation without interest or care. His perfunctory apology did little to repair the damage he had caused. The employee's perfunctory greeting suggested that she was not happy to be at work. The chef's perfunctory plating of the food did not live up to the restaurant's reputation for exquisite presentation. The teacher's perfunctory grading of the papers left many students feeling frustrated and confused. The actor's perfunctory performance was criticized for lacking emotional depth and authenticity. Languid as adjective. Lacking energy, vitality, or enthusiasm. Sluggish. Slow-moving or slow-paced. The patient's breathing was slow and languid. She spoke in a languid tone, as if she was bored. The heat made him feel languid and lethargic. The atmosphere of the room was languid and humid. Her languid movements suggested that she was tired or unwell.
Complaisant as adjective. Agreeable and accommodating in nature, willing to please or oblige others. She was always complaisant and willing to help out with anything that was needed. The hotel staff were extremely complaisant and went out of their way to make sure we had a comfortable stay. His complaisant attitude toward the boss's requests earned him a promotion. The politician's complaisant behavior toward lobbyists made many people question his integrity. I found his complaisant agreement to the terms of the contract somewhat suspicious.
Obstinate as adjective. Refusing to change one's opinion or course of action, despite urging or persuasion. Unyielding, determined, or resolute in one's position. The employee's obstinate attitude caused friction in the workplace. The team's obstinate defense made it difficult for the opposing team to score. Despite being proven wrong, the obstinate person refused to admit their mistake. The child was very obstinate and refused to eat anything but candy. The company's obstinate adherence to outdated policies led to its downfall. Insolvent as adjective. lacking sufficient assets to cover one's liabilities, unable to pay debts as they become due. The company filed for bankruptcy because it was insolvent. The charity had to close down due to being insolvent. The bank had to write off the loan as a loss due to the borrower being insolvent. The individual declared themselves insolvent and unable to pay their debts. The government provided financial assistance to the insolvent business. Deferential as adjective, expressing humble submission or yielding to the opinions or wishes of others, showing deference or respect to someone in authority or power. The employee was always deferential to her boss, even when she disagreed with him. He showed a deferential attitude towards his elders. The waiter was very deferential to the restaurant's regular customers. The politician was criticized for not being deferential enough to her constituents. The audience greeted the performer with deferential applause. Contrite as adjective, feeling remorseful or sorry for having done wrong, showing or expressing sorrow or penitence for having sinned or committed a wrongdoing. The defendant appeared contrite during the trial and apologized for his actions. The athlete was contrite after receiving a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct during the game. The student's contrite demeanor and sincere apology helped to resolve the conflict with her teacher. The penitent's contrite confession and willingness to make amends were taken into account during his sentencing. The employee showed contrite behavior and offered to make up for the mistake she made in her work. Fastidious as adjective, requiring a high degree of precision, accuracy, or cleanliness, very attentive to detail and prone to complaining about minor flaws or imperfections. She was fastidious about the cleanliness of her house, scrubbing every surface until it shone. The chef was known for being fastidious about the quality of ingredients he used in his dishes. The designer was fastidious in her approach to creating the perfect color palette for the room. The author was fastidious in his research, spending months studying every detail of the historical period he was writing about. The CEO was fastidious about the company's image, insisting that every detail of their branding be perfect.
Pertinent as adjective, directly related or connected to the matter under consideration, relevant or applicable to a particular matter, having a direct bearing on the issue at hand. The speaker made some pertinent points during the presentation. It is important to focus on pertinent information when writing a research paper. The judge's ruling was based on pertinent evidence. The interviewer asked pertinent questions about the applicant's qualifications. The doctor asked pertinent questions to diagnose the patient's illness.
Ethereal as adjective, extremely light, delicate, and airy, of or having the nature of heaven or the heavens, unworldly or celestial. The ethereal beauty of the sunset took her breath away. The music had an ethereal quality that made it seem otherworldly. Her ethereal dress seemed to float around her as she danced. The paintings on the wall gave the room an ethereal atmosphere. The ethereal light of dawn filled the sky with pink and gold. Lugubrious as adjective, despondently or excessively mournful, excessively or affectedly sad, excessively sad, mournful, or gloomy, causing or expressing sorrow. The lugubrious music made me feel sad. The old, abandoned mansion had a lugubrious atmosphere. The man's lugubrious face suggested he had suffered great loss. The rain and gray sky created a lugubrious mood. The professor gave a lugubrious lecture about the state of the world. Audacious as adjective. Showing a willingness to take bold risks, daring. Willing to take bold risks, daring. The audacious plan to build a city on Mars captivated the imagination of many people, but also faced numerous technical and financial challenges. The burglar's audacious attempt to rob the bank in broad daylight was thwarted by the security guards and the police. The chef's audacious combination of flavors and textures in their signature dish surprised and delighted the diners. The artist's audacious use of colors, shapes, and materials challenged the traditional notions of art and aesthetics. The politician's audacious proposal to reform the healthcare system met with strong opposition from the industry, the public, and the rival parties. Telling as adjective. Having a strong or significant effect, impactful, revealing or indicating something important or significant. The evidence was telling of the suspect's guilt. Her expression was telling of her disappointment with the outcome. The movie's ending was particularly telling of the main character's personality. The omission of certain information in the report was telling of a cover-up. The contrast between the two paintings was telling of the artist's different styles. Vociferous as adjective. Loud, boisterous, or tumultuous in speech or expression. Noisy or clamorous in complaining. The politician's vociferous speech rallied the crowd. The vociferous complaints from the neighbors prompted the city council to take action. The band's vociferous music was too loud for some people. The teacher had to calm down the vociferous classroom before beginning the lesson. The activists were vociferous in their demands for social justice. Antithetical as adjective. Characterized by strong contrast or opposition in ideas or characteristics. Directly opposed or contrasting to something else. His ideas about freedom and government were antithetical to those of the ruling party, and he was often persecuted for his views. The company's commitment to profits was antithetical to its claims of social responsibility, leading to criticism and boycotts. The artist's avant-garde style was antithetical to the mainstream art world, and she struggled to gain recognition and support. The politician's public persona was antithetical to his private behavior, leading to accusations of hypocrisy and dishonesty. The teacher's strict discipline was antithetical to the student's desire for autonomy and creativity, leading to conflict and resentment. Surly as adjective. Bad-tempered and unfriendly, sullen and hostile, ill-natured and grumpy, morose and unfriendly. He gave me a surly look when I asked him for help. The surly waiter made our dining experience unpleasant. His surly attitude towards his coworkers made him unpopular. She replied in a surly tone, indicating she was annoyed. He left in a surly mood after the meeting. Abysmal as adjective. Extremely bad or poor. Extremely low or lacking in quality. The restaurant's food was abysmal, with undercooked meat and stale vegetables. The company's financial performance last quarter was abysmal, with record losses and declining revenue. The weather during the camping trip was abysmal, with constant rain and cold temperatures. The team's performance on the field was abysmal, with numerous errors and missed opportunities. The school's test scores were abysmal, indicating a need for major improvements in teaching and resources. Ready to boost your English? Meet our vocabulary app, the fun and effective way to master the language. Books learn advanced words with examples and audio. Direct hit master idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Video game enjoy quizzes, flashcards, and pronunciation tests. Glow showing Europe, Africa translate into 100+ languages, all in one app. Did you learn new words? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Download now and start your journey to vocabulary mastery.